On this episode of Lapeef Let's Talk,
where everybody is doing the same thing and not getting the results. And you need to get in the presence of somebody that may not look like you, somebody that may not think like you, that can give you a different perspective and add value to your life so that you'll be able to go through and be more successful at what it is that you want to do. It's not about being in the majority. It's about being in the minority. And we got it backwards. We think that you have to have a whole lot of experience in this specific space, when the reality is that the goal is to get it right once, be successful, be successfully married, and then be able to pass that same information on to somebody else in order for them to do the same thing. But for some reason, we think that doing it wrong and then continuing to give wrong information to everybody else is what makes more sense. I don't understand that. So I have no clue why that makes sense to people.
So let me explain. When we're talking about business, or we're talking about things of that nature, that totally applies.
Okay. I need to know if you're a prostitute. That don't have nothing to do with vulnerability.
I want to hear from Kayla, because I know she haven't had the time to speak too much on this. Go ahead, Kayla.
Kayla, just say yes. Anton, you were right, and then go ahead and give your narrative. I agree with
you.
Okay, so when it comes to men being vulnerable, I do think that you can't trust everybody, but in life you have to trust somebody, and you don't need, if you really need to wait till forever, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like, just like, you want to marry someone, when you can trust somebody with deep information. I think that being vulnerable is not always only about deep information. Sometimes it's just about feelings, which is something that men don't like to talk about. So if you come in the house and you're upset about something, I'm not saying that you need to come to me and start spilling it or whatever. Take your space, take your time to decompress on it.
Yes.
But don't be different with this all going on. And I'm like, hey, babe, everything good? Oh, no, I'm fine. Knowing you're not fine.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And just, even if you don't feel like you need to go into all of the details of it, you can at least say, babe, today was just rough. I just, a lot went on. Obviously, I know what's going on. I'm your best friend. And I like to talk. So whoever I'm with is going to be a person that likes to talk to. So I know what's going on with you at work. I know who at work. I know the people's names at work. You know what I'm saying? I know your life at work. So you're telling me... I'm telling you how I live and how I do things. So if in that situation, if something's going on, I expect that I'm the first person that you're going to call and tell. I'm not saying it's always going to be obviously you have best friends, you may have siblings, you may be close with your mom or your dad or whatever. But if you're going through something, don't just walk around the house different and not telling me what's going on. I'm asking you what's going on. It's too much for you to talk about your feelings about how this, didn't go your way or whatever and upset you. If I'm your woman, tell me what upset you. I'm here for you, babe. Tell me what's going on.
This is crazy.
If you want me to just listen, I'll just listen. If you want my advice, you'll ask me and I'll tell you.
Yes.
But you can't just walk around here. You can't just walk around here that.
What if I don't want to talk to you about it? Not you specifically, but just in general. Are you going to shut up and stop bothering me about it and stop trying to force me to have a conversation?
Anton, if you are unable to open up to someone, you should just be alone. And I'm not
talking about talking about.
I'm not talking about you, because I know that you have your wife and I love her and I understand. But I'm talking about if in your situation where you're like, we just don't want to do it. If you cannot open up to a person, you are not relationship ready. You're not.
Y'all have no idea what it takes in order to foster a successful
Anton, you probably got the least idea. You've been married.
I have the least idea, but I'm the most successful when it comes to relationships. How is that possible?
Dating experience.
That's the goal, is to find one person and be successfully married. What are you talking about?
And I commend you.
I literally did. I shot it from the logo and hit all net. What you talking about?
Okay,
my goodness, Anton, you have the least.
I'm the person that everybody should be coming to. I'm the person everybody should be coming to and saying, "Yo, how should I do this?" Not a bunch of people that don't know nothing about how to have
I respect your relationship and I love your wife, but you have the least dating experience of anyone on the panel.
Oh,
so you're
Jesus.
doing all this
Hold on.
talking.
Hey, hold on. Let me just say this. Anton, I 100% support, and I'm so happy that you have an example, you know what I mean, for people to show, marriage and all of that. But you know that your
From the logo,
your philosophies, the way that you go about it, the way that your marriage is, can only be helpful to people who subscribe to those same methods. Okay.
No,
Because
that's not true.
if there's a different kind of man that's not like you, that doesn't operate like you, a different kind of woman that's not like your wife, that doesn't operate like her,
Nope.
you giving them advice on what they should do
Nope.
doesn't
Wrong.
really, it doesn't correlate, because we are not alike. We're not similar in any way. So why would I take
and that's the
advice from
problem,
someone
is that y'all not,
like
y'all man is not like me.
I'm a black woman, Republican. Why would I take advice on what I should do?
And I'm a black man.
in
That's
life
conservative also.
from
So what's the difference?
From a white Democratic, like, it doesn't make sense for me to take.
It does make sense, Kayla, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. In order to be successful in life, and you know this from sales, you have to step outside of the echo chamber of everybody that's telling you the thing that you want to hear, and get in the presence of the people that can actually add value to your life. It's not about being in the majority. It's about being in a successful minority, because we all know, you've explained to me that you come from a great environment and all of that, right?
Correct.
At the top, there's less. The majority of the people are all going to be mired and laying in a pile of their own filth. Whenever you see the majority, you can usually find the worst of us, right? The majority is usually the ones that's complaining. The majority are the poor. The majority are the least married. The majority, even if you look at it from a biblical perspective, if you believe in that, the road and the path is going to be narrow. It's not going to be wide, and it's not going to be where everybody else is going. If you're trying to figure out how to do things the right way, we have to get outside of the place that people tell us what we want to hear, where everybody is doing the same thing and not getting the results. And you need to get in the presence of somebody that may not look like you, somebody that may not think like you, that can give you a different perspective and add value to your life, so that you'll be able to go through and be more successful at what it is that you want to do. It's not about being in the majority. It's about being in the minority. And we got it backwards. We think that you have to have a whole lot of experience in this specific space, when the reality is that the goal is to get it right once, be successful, be successfully married, and then be able to pass that same information on to somebody else in order for them to do the same thing. But for some reason, we think that doing it wrong and then continuing to give wrong information to everybody else is what makes more sense. I don't understand that. So I have no clue why that makes sense to people.
So let me explain. When we're talking about business, or we're talking about things of that nature, that totally applies.